Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So I am going to say free Christmas list. I'm still on the ball. I love my country, but some things need to change. There must be a change. So Christmas list is not the problem. The YouTubers like myself, we are not the problem. Who is the problem, Trinidad? Who is the problem? Well, Christmas list got charged with sedition. Now, in case you guys don't know what the meaning of sedition is, I will explain. Sedition is an overt conduct, such as speech, organization that tends towards rebellion against an established order, against the government. If he's charged with this, I think he's in Trinidad a month. How could he be a gang member? How could he be a gang leader? How could he influence those guys when he takes like, how long it takes to record? About a day with them. Could it be that people that surrounded Christmas lists was involved in giving advice and it make it look like it was him? That could be, and that is allegedly. That's allegedly. And I want to put a disclaimer. I do not agree with him even filming the hoods, but that is his niche. And when I say his niche, that is the category or the topic that he wanted to deal with. And that's what he wanted to do because of his audience. There are young men and older men and majority of men and women who like to watch these dramatic, rebellious kind of thing that goes on with the young society. Now, that's not my cup of tea. And this is why I am having this video here with you today. What happened, what drew me to him, what made me like him, because I'm a Christian, I saw something about a week ago where he was invited to a walk, a Mother's Cry walk, where it was organized by a Christian group in Trinidad. And I found this to be heartwarming. This pulled my heart because I'm a mother too, you know, and to see your son die for nothing, and for the which could be gang related or unrelated. You know, most mothers could relate to that in Trinidad. And there were a group of mothers there, and they were praying for the country. And this is what made me like Christmas less. And this is why I see a foreigner, a tourist, doing more, actually doing more than a local, doing more than a police officer, doing more than a cabinet minister, doing more than a civilian, some certain civilians. You're not gonna like me, you know, but I'm not here to be liked. I'm here, it's time for a change, and it has to be, some precedent, something has to happen. All right. So what I'm going to do is just read quickly this act, and it's important that you read this this Trinidad and Tobago Express newspaper, because it has little nuggets in here, and I will read it. And when I'm finished, I want all you guys who are on my channel to suggest. Now we gotta find out what are the solutions, you know. But first, let me read this article. And this article it goes like this. The Sedition Act has been used to file criminal charge against Canadian blogger Chris Hughes, better known online as Christmasless. According to the charge laid by an officer of the Special Investigation Unit, SUI, on May 9th in North Trinidad, Hughes published a seditious publication, to wit, an audio-visual video via YouTube of the social media platforms. The offense is contrary to the section of 4.1 of the Sedition Act, Chapter 1104. Upon summary conviction, he could be fined $3,000 or serve 2 years in prison. If convicted in the High Court, Hughes would face a $25,000 fine, 5 years in prison, and the seditious material seized. Hugh was spending a 3rd day in police custody today. He was arrested by police earlier on Tuesday morning in relation to a series of YouTube videos he had uploaded over the last few weeks featuring interviews with the members of gangs. In 2020, now this is what I found to be interesting. Now, I'm not a lawyer, okay? If any lawyers in Trinidad watch this, because remember, I'm a novice, and then some people call me dunce. I'm not dunce. I have an education. I'm educated, okay? And these type of words and bringing down people, I'm not in for it. This is why Trinidad is in the state of mind. We like to mock people. We like to point fingers and don't point the fingers back at ourselves. Okay? So, no name calling on this channel. If you don't like it, don't look. Don't subscribe. Don't look at my channel. I'm not in for the views, actually. Not in for the views. I'm in for my people of Trinidad and Tobago. Don't let me call the doc spirit, you know, Dr. Eric William. Okay, I think we need the Dr. Eric William to come back. We need a messianic Dr. Eric William. And I will start praying for that Dr. Eric William to manifest. You know, we need a new Dr. Eric William. All right, excuse me, sorry. I got overboard. Let me continue reading. In 19, sorry, not, I keep saying 19. In 2020, the sedition laws were suspended after Justice Frank C. Prasad. In 2020, the sedition laws were suspended after Justice Frank C. Prasad had ruled that Section 3 and 4 of the Sedition Act, which came into effect in 1920, were not in conformity with the Constitution, as they impose disproportionate and unjustified restrictions on citizens' free speech, expression, and thought. That's one point. I remember, I am not a lawyer, okay? I'm reading an article that was published by Trinidad and Tobago Express newspaper. Then it goes on to say the judge also held that act infringed on the right to the freedom of the press. The judge also held that act infringed on the right to the freedom of the press. Now, I'm not a journalist either. I never intend to be a journalist. You know, my sphere, my circle, that's what sphere means. My area or my concentrate is art. Could you believe that? Yes. I am a graphic designer. I deal with media. I'm not a journalist. Hence, my reason for doing this is to expand my expertise, right? This is why I'm doing this, okay? I don't get paid for this, right? I'm not working, so I have the time to talk. I'm learning, right? Children of Trinidad and Tobago, young boys, young girls, go to school and learn well. Otherwise, you're going to catch real hell. Okay? You don't want to catch hell. Okay? Why do you think those boys in gangs, they're not going to school? They're not finishing school. You know why they're not finishing school and they're not going to school? Because of poverty, depression, oppression. They're waiting for the government to give them without. And I was listening to Dr. Eric Williams today, you know, and he was actually he was talking, and I forgot to take, I'm going to post it in my description. And he was talking about liquidation statement. He made a statement on liquidation. And he was talking about Marxism and how he did not want to go. He was giving examples of why Russia went into Marxism and believe in certain things that, what's his name, Mark? Oh boy, oh gosh, Marxism. Yeah, this guy, what's his name? Oh, yeah. You guys know Marxism by Karl Marx. Yeah, he was explaining why it is that they were not achieving certain things, especially for the peasantry, right? So he says nobody will liquidate the peasantry of Trinidad and Tobago as long as what? We have PNM. Now, I told you guys I didn't want him to go into politics because I don't know what's happening in Trinidad right now under PNM. This is a different leader. I don't even want to mention politics, but because of this whole thing, I'm forced to. So I'm a novice, please. This is a disclaimer. Some things I don't know, but what I read and when I listened to Eric, our doctor, our former Prime Minister, our founder father, our father, right? He said this as he ended his talk on Marxism and the peasantry. He says, make sure you write this down. Nobody will liquidate the peasantry of Trinidad and Tobago as long as we have PNM. Now, I don't know if we're liquidating anything in Trinidad right now. If the oil stopped flowing, if we lease out the Pitch Lake, if we do this and we do that, I don't know how it's going. I don't know. But I want this to wriggle around our minds because you know why? You guys paying taxes, right? Pay-E, right? P-A-Y-E, right? Pay as you earn. Pay as you earn. If you're paying taxes, you're not supposed to speak. What? You're gonna get you're gonna get something will happen to you if you talk up. What happened? You guys don't assemble in the University of Woodford Square anymore? Nobody assembled there? Huh? We need to go back to the old time days. Probably we need to go back to them old time ways, you know? So when he said that, I said, what? Yeah, he said, go make sure you write it down. And then he said, make sure that the young people there too. He wanted that implemented. Sorry for getting all hyped up because this was so good. So yeah, so let me finish reading the article because I want to close off quickly. All right. Okay, so now that was important. going back to the article. So Frank C. Prasad, Justice Frank C. Prasad, right? And I'll post this on too, this whole article. In 1920, the sedition laws were suspended after Justice Frank C. Prasad had ruled that Section 3 and 4 of the Sedition Act, which came into effect in 1920, were not in conformity with the Constitution, as they impose disproportionate and unjustified restrictions on citizens' free speech and expression of thought. The judge also held that the act infringed on the right and the freedom of the press. However, okay, I have to stop there. However, the appeal court suspended the order of Justice Frank C. Prasad. Why? Why? Now, this is important, you know. Reading is important, you know. For my last video, I got emotional. I do tend to get emotional. I'm an artist. I'm supposed to get emotional. We deal a lot with emotions. So I'm not, I'll reiterate, I'm not a journalist. You know, I cannot constrain my emotions. I'm learning at this age of 50, I'm learning. I'm still learning, you know. Okay, so going back onto, however, the appeal court suspended the order of Justice Frank C. Prasad, who found last month the parts of the law were unconstitutional, as it infringed on the rights of citizens to freedom of expression, thought, and freedom of the press. So they appeal it, right? They appeal it. Now, it's going on to say the effect of the ruling meant that people could no longer be charged with the act of sedition. Wow. Then it goes on to say the ruling brought a halt to a preliminary inquiry against Watson Duke, who was charged with sedition last August over statements he made during a protest at telecoms provider TSTT in 2018. This is really sounding crazy. It doesn't sound too right, okay? Like you can't, Trinidad, I don't know. Forgive me, Trinidad, forgive me. All right, and then it goes on to say Duke was successful in having a charge of sedition against him. Oh, so Duke was successful in having a charge of sedition against him discontinued by Chief Magistrate Maria Busby, Earl Cadell of Port of Spain Court. Wow, I'm learning a lot. Aren't we learning a lot? I see reading is important. Yeah. So Jamaat, now we're going to Jamaat al-Muslimin leader Yassam Abu Bakr also made an application before Justice Maria Wilson in Port of Spain High Court for a charge of sedition against him to be discharged. So this could be cancelled, most likely. Let's hope this could be cancelled for Christmas list. If he has a good attorney, I hope so. Okay, so let's go on. That charge came following statements during a sermon in which Bakr allegedly incited others to demand money by menace and to commit a breach of peace during an Eid sermon at the Jamaat Mokorapo Road Mosque in 2005. Wow. So 2 instances here, okay? 2 examples proving that this could be cancelled, or there's another word for it, thrown out of the court. In 2012, his trial at the High Court ended in a hung jury, resulting in a retrial being ordered. The retrial did not take place, and Abu Bakr has since died. Okay, he passed. I remember Abu Bakr. All right. Justice C. Prasad was overturned by appeal court, which allowed the provision of the Sedition Act to enforce. So that means it was appeal. It went through the appellant court, and they reinforced it. So I was wrong. You see, this is why I'm reading it, you know. This case was taken before Privy Council, which decided that the colonial era sedition law is not inconsistent with the Constitution, being rescued from inconsistencies with the provision of protecting fundamental existing laws, and importantly is not inconsistent with the Constitution, which guarantees that Trinidad and Tobago is a democratic state. That's important. That's very important. Trinidad is democracy. It's not an autocratic, or it's not China. The Privy Council did express the provisional view that offense of sedition will only be committed where there is an intention to incite violence or disorder. Now that is for the judge, and that is for his lawyers, and that is for them to decide. That's for the legal system to decide. I was just reading, okay? This is a disclaimer. I'm not enforcing violence. I'm not for violence. And I'm not enforcing sedition or disorder. But bring back the old-time days. We need a new Dr. Eric Williams. We need somebody who went to a very good college, who's very informed, who's very educated, and who loves people. You gotta love people to be in a position of authority. And you got to love the destitute. You got to love the peasantry. You got to love the little man who have an area of land and he planting to sell his cassava, planting his green celery, and he going out every day in the morning to make sure his goods and products are going to be sold. You got to love the man on the hill who don't have nothing and have no choice but to steal because he's destitute. You know, these young boys and young girls who are in gangs, there's a reason they're in gangs. It didn't happen just like that. Christmas list went and he met what was happening. It was happening years on. So let's find a situation, solutions, how it is that we could help change the narrative of Trinidad and Tobago. Okay, we need to change the narrative. We have to pray for a new messianic leader, a new Dr. Eric Williams. You know, And I'll leave you guys at that. Bye.